Tomorrow marks a year since Israel and Hezbollah formally agreed to a ceasefire. It was meant to put an end to more than 13 months of cross-border violence and an Israeli ground invasion that killed more than 4,000 Lebanese and 127 Israelis. But fears are growing of a return to full-scale war, with airstrikes continuing and both sides accusing the other of violating the agreement. The United Nations says Israel has killed at least 127 Lebanese civilians since the signing of their deal and calling for a probe. Blake Sifton filed this report for CNA from Kiryat Shmona on the Israeli border with Lebanon.
It doesn't look like a ceasefire is in place in southern Lebanon. Accusing Hezbollah of trying to rearm and rebuild their capabilities in violation of the agreement, the Israeli military has been carrying out near-daily airstrikes. Some of these have reached the capital, Beirut. On Sunday, a rare strike in Beirut's southern suburb killed a top Hezbollah leader and several other members of the Shiite Muslim militant group. The attack coming just 4 days before the one-year anniversary of the ceasefire agreement and 1 week before Pope Leo arrives in Lebanon on his first overseas trip.
هلا هن فكرهم انه باسلوبهم هذا الاسلوب الهمجي الوحشي حينالوا من ارادتنا. نحن هذا الشيء اللي عم بيصير ما بيزيدنا الا اصرار وتصميم.
The Israeli military says it has killed over 300 Hezbollah members since the ceasefire came into effect a year ago. The United Nations says more than 100 Lebanese civilians have also been killed. The intensifying attacks are raising fears that the situation could deteriorate further.
Sometimes they are targeted strikes aimed at Hezbollah leaders or operatives, but we have also had a series of incidents in which Lebanese innocent civilians were targeted by the Israelis. And this is creating a panic climate in Lebanon, and many Lebanese are worried that we could soon witness a new full-fledged war between Israel and Hezbollah.
But on the Israeli side of the border, it's a different story. The scars from more than a year of Hezbollah attacks remain, but the ceasefire has brought quiet back to northern communities. Hezbollah has not fired into Israel since the truce began.
Before the ceasefire, it was not safe to stand here. Anywhere within sight of the Lebanese border was vulnerable to attack from Hezbollah's anti-tank missiles, but the city of Kiryat Shmona is now a much safer place.
And many residents have returned to the city after an estimated 70,000 people evacuated communities across northern Israel when Hezbollah began firing missiles, rockets, and drones in support of its Palestinian ally Hamas, a day after the October 7th attacks in 2023. Dr. Aviva Weitzman and her family were among those who fled the bombing and only returned earlier this year. She says the situation fills her with unease.
עכשיו התחושה שאין ביטחון, התחושה שיכול להיות עוד סבב של מלחמה, שחיזבאללה כן מנסים להתקרב לגדר, כן מנסים אולי לעשות משהו, אז אין ממש תחושת ביטחון, זה חלק מזה שהאזור, חלק מזה שאין התאוששות עד הסוף.
According to the ceasefire agreement, the Lebanese military is meant to disarm Hezbollah. The government says it is working to confiscate Hezbollah's weapons in southern Lebanon by the end of the year. But Israeli officials have accused Lebanese authorities of dragging their feet. Sarit Zahavi is a retired lieutenant colonel in the Israeli military and the founder of a think tank focused on security on Israel's northern border. She believes the Lebanese army is not doing everything it can to disarm Hezbollah.
It is clear that it's far from being enough, that there are a lot of violations that are of warehouses, of weapons, storages of weapons that are inside the civilian infrastructures of South Lebanon, and the Lebanese army is not doing anything around it. To truly disarm Hezbollah, Lebanese army really want that, really needs the capabilities to want that, and needs the willingness to clash with Hezbollah, because Hezbollah will not do that in a non-violent way.
The Lebanese government has called for patience, and there are fears that a direct conflict with Hezbollah could plunge Lebanon back into civil war.
Many people are starting to worry about this scenario. I think, however, that the Lebanese president and the Lebanese prime minister are aware that they simply cannot order the Lebanese army to enter into a confrontation with Hezbollah, even if there are intense American and Israeli pressures.
Hezbollah accuses Israel of violating the ceasefire by remaining inside Lebanese territory at 5 locations along the border and says they will not disarm as long as Israeli strikes continue. But with Israeli officials vowing to keep up those attacks, both sides appear intent on continuing along a collision course. For CNA, I'm Blake Sifton in Kiryat Shmona in northern Israel.